Well, Dave, thanks for sitting down with us. We appreciate it a lot. You have quite a long history with home inspections. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. Myself and my cousin, we actually started Aardvark Pest Control in 1998. So we started our company as a pest control company, and since that time, we've added, the home inspections to our company, radon testing, radon mitigations, mold testing, mold remediation. So we do a lot of different things that other inspectors in our industry are doing. And now we have 42 employees. So it's humbling to know that, back in the day we started with $1,000 in a 12 by 12 room, and now we're a multi-million-dollar inspection company with 42 families that we're feeding.
Yeah, that's quite a success story. What do you think allowed you to grow so well?
Honestly, I think it's a culture as much as anything in our business. We've always said we want to care about people as much as profits. And we're like masters in doing that. We're masters in creating win-win situations. We always try to be forward-thinking and innovative. So those are some things that we're bringing to the table. And I would say, one of the biggest successes for us is, not just letting our customers know that we care about them more than profits, and letting our, referring agents know that we care about them more than profits, but it's our Aardvark family members. So it's really a culture that we've created in our company to let these people know that we truly care about you. You're a family member to us, and we're going to do everything we can to help you feed your families. And we're all basically rowing the boat the same direction in our company. It's a team first mentality for us, and I think that's been a key to our success, is just everybody putting the company first and promoting that culture.
So it's easy to say we care about our customers. How do you convey that? How do you convey that message to your customer?
So, obviously we have to, I lead by example in our business, right? And, caring about customers more than profits. Sometimes you might have a customer that calls in and money's tight, you might discount it. Or, we all give discounts to veterans and do those types of things too. Sometimes, real estate agents, referring agents, they might have to pay for something in the real estate transaction just to get it to close. Maybe it's a termite treatment or radon mitigation quote. So they might come to us and say, hey, you know what, can you sharpen the pencil on this deal or whatever? And, it kind of stinks in a way, not making as much money as you can, but you understand that, hey, making that one small sacrifice is going to help, ease their burden and care about them, right? But the other thing is our employees. Sometimes you get some people, maybe they had an experience in their family and they might need a loan, right? So you maybe help them out with a loan. Sometimes, they may need extra time off of work. So obviously we're not going to penalize them for that. So we understand that things can happen in, everybody's lives. And so to be there for them and to show caring and compassionate behavior, I think is really important.
So are great employees hired or are they trained?
I think it's both, right? There's a lot more talent in our company than what I bring to the table. I think one of the keys to being successful for Aardvark is, surrounding, ourselves with people that maybe know more about us. Some of our home inspectors know more about the technical side of, home inspections than we do, right? I got guys that are, former engineers. I get guys that have been building houses since they were 19 years old, right out of high school. So, we don't have an ego in the management program at Aardvark, and we're always willing to listen to our guys' ideas, and we're surrounding ourselves with people that are smarter than us. And I've always said that, mentoring is really important. And just because you're older doesn't mean you're the mentor. It could be someone younger mentoring you. So I could hire some kid that knows a lot more about, technology than I do, and they could be my mentor, right? So I think it's surrounding yourself with, a lot of people with different talents, and understanding that they can help you in different ways, and not having that ego where I'm the boss and this is how it's got to be kind of thing, right? So again, it's that culture, all working together, all rowing the boat the same direction, all helping each other out, learning from each other.
Right. So I know for a lot of inspectors, making that leap to bringing on more than them, they've been the only inspector, they're ready to hire another inspector. That's a big hurdle to climb. What advice would you give to somebody when selecting and training a new inspector to have a success with that?
So that's a good question, and we're actually on a panel on Wednesday, a multi-inspector panel, where there's going to be a few multi-inspectors up on stage answering questions, and I'm sure a question like that may pop up, right? And so I always tell guys that are single-man shows, especially if you're starting to do 6, 8, 10 home inspections a week, you need to be hiring another home inspector because you're one fall off a roof from being out of business, right? Or some guy could run a stop sign and broadside you, and now all of a sudden you're hurt, and you can't feed your family anymore. You're out of business. So I think it's really important to hire people. That's first and foremost. Grow and hire someone. It helps give your company some security. Your income that you've created and the business you've created. You don't want to just lose that because of a bad accident or illness, right? The other thing is, a lot of people will say, man, 42 people working for you, and that's got to be stressful and all that kind of stuff. And it can be in certain situations. There's always things that you have to deal with. You got more balls in the air and stuff like that. But I think a lot of that's, delegation and follow-up and training, like you said. I think that's important. But as a multi-inspector, I think one of the biggest reasons that we became a multi-inspector and wanted to grow to where we're at is freedom, right? I have freedom now, to do the things I want to do. Like I wanted to come to this ASHI conference. It wasn't a problem sneaking away for 5 days, right? I can work as many hours as I want or as little as I want because we've created a system and put processes in places that if I don't want to be there, I don't need to be, right? I love being there, and I love, helping grow the business. But being a multi-inspector to me isn't about chasing money. I always tell people, don't chase money, chase happiness, right? Sure. And so for me, I'm trying to chase happiness and freedom. I'm not trying to chase money. As far as training goes, everybody has different routes of training. Some guys send them through training classes, training schools, InterNACHI schools. There's a plethora of different sources that people, can get their guys trained at. So I always tell people, just, research what you think is going to work best for you. Interview the people running the schools, and then make a business decision.
What do you use for training?
So when we do training, some guys get into our program by working their way through the system, okay? So they might start as a pest control technician, and then we have them do that for a while, see how they're going to work out, and then maybe have them teach them how to do mold and have them learn that aspect of the company, and then teach them how to do the radon, testing and mitigations and all of that kind of stuff. So we kind of make them work their way up the system because it's expensive to hire a home inspector, spend $4 or $5 grand sending them to classes, sending them to training, all of that stuff. And all of a sudden they work for you for a month and you're just really learning what they're like, and they're not even going to work out, so it's a waste of money. So how I like to do it is, hey, you want to become a home inspector? Okay, start here in this position,
right?
Learn everything about it, work your way up. That's how we like to do it.
So what type of program do you have that kind of, if you have that person that you spend all that money on to training, before they actually pay back whatever, what do you do if they 6 months into it they say, this is not for me?
So at that point, we've already had an established, that's what I'm saying, the reason we do it the way we do it is because we have an established relationship with that person. They might be doing pest control for 6 months, and we know what kind of worker they are. They might be doing radon for another 6 after that or whatever. So we already have that established relationship with them, right? Now there are some guys that we might bring in and just hire them, as home inspectors. But to be honest with you, a lot of those guys are people that were already in the industry, owning their own company, and they find out that, hey, it's not as easy as you think to get your phones to ring, right? And so we'll get guys that come work for us because they decided, hey, all I want to do is inspect houses, go home with my family at 5 o'clock, maybe crack a beer, grill some burgers, whatever I want to do. I don't want to have to deal with the marketing, the admin stuff, the insurance stuff, the licensing things, stuff like that. And rarely do we lose employees once we get them because we care so much about them and we live it and breathe it every day. And so here's a perfect example. We let our guys set their own schedule, right? And all our employees, really, if they want. So they kind of feel like they're working for themselves, right? So we might give them a week's vacation as they are with us 10 years and might get 2 weeks or 5 years. I just own the company. I don't know our payment program when it comes to benefits. That sounds pretty bad. But anyway, so we give them a couple weeks, after they've worked with us for 5 years or whatever. But if they need more time off than that, we'll give it to them. Like I have a guy that he might come to me and say, you know what, I want next Thursday and Friday off because I want to take my kids to an amusement park. We'll let them have it off. Or I have one guy, he uses his vacation with his family in the summer, but then in the winter he wants to go deer hunting for a week. Okay, can I have that time off? No problem. Our only thing is, if you're scheduled to be there, you have to show up, right? Because people take time off of work to, be at the inspection. Sellers make arrangements to leave the house during the inspection. So, you have to be there. There's no calling in sick. That's like one of our mantras. But they love working for us because they still feel like they work for themselves.
Awesome. So, my takeaways from what you said: have systems in place if you want to be a growing company. And company culture, employees first. Is that a fair say?
Absolutely. Customer first, employee first. I mean, we've all heard that expression. The customer's rule number one is the customer's always right. And rule number two is if the customer's wrong, see rule number one. Yeah. Right? We've all had that. But it's hard to live it, right? It's so hard to live it. And we try to live that each and every day, And there's lots of different things that we do at Aardvark that I think are unique, whether it be certain marketing things, how we go out and approach our conversations with real estate agents. I think it's different than a lot of other people out there. How we handle complaints. And if anybody's listening to this, if you get a complaint, it's your opportunity to be great, man. That's your best sales opportunity ever in the history of doing this business. A lot of guys don't understand that if you do a good job for someone, they might tell one or two or three people, right? But if you do a bad job or a perceived bad job, it's all over the place. Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, they're making all these negative posts. So you want to head that off if you can, right? So when complaints come in, I think a lot of times home inspectors, they get defensive. They're like, I didn't do anything wrong, or this, that, and the other thing. And not me, man. I just embrace the challenge. I'm like, man, this is my opportunity to be great. And so there's lots of different things and conversations that we could get into and different experiences that I could share. But I guess the overall point is, look at it as an opportunity to make that customer happy. Do whatever you can to make them happy. It doesn't mean you have to write them a check every time. If someone has a problem, say with a leaky tub, right? You could pull the report and you could say, I'm really sorry that that your tub's leaking, but it says right in the report that it was leaking. Maybe you missed that or whatever. It's not something my guy missed or I'm responsible for. But you know what? I got some plumbing buddies. They'll give you a really great discount, help you out. So sometimes people just want help resolving that issue, right? So there's things that we can do to create great, real estate experiences for these clients. And I think home inspectors, another thing is, they don't understand. We shouldn't just be there to do the inspection, right? We should be there to create a great real estate experience for that client, because that experience is going to continue on for that client after they close on the house and after they move into the house. So even though something might be wrong with the house and it's not your fault, why can't you still stay involved with that client and help them, have a better experience, help them resolve that problem?
That's great advice, Dave. So, a couple of places people can link up with you. You have a Tech Talk coming up.
Yeah, we have a Tech Talk Tuesday at 3:15 in Tech Talk, room number 3. And I'm going to talk about the InspectedHouses.com platform that we created. And honest to goodness, in my 21 years of being in business, I've never had a marketing tool that has helped me connect with as many real estate agents as this tool. And they get really excited when they hear that, hey, as a home inspector, I can actually help you grow your business. I can help you market your listings, capture leads, drive leads to your listing, and drive leads to your website. Now, why do home inspectors want to do that? Because when those leads come in, the home inspector gets them too. So now, wouldn't it be great if you got a whole bunch of buyer leads and you knew who was going to buy houses, and then you could market directly to that buyer and not rely on real estate agents as much for referrals? So it's really a win-win situation what we created with Inspected Houses, and I could sit here and talk to you for an hour about that.
Well, they're going to have to come to the Tech Talk to hear more about it. So tomorrow at 3:15?
Yes, 3:15, Tech Talk, room number 3. I'd be happy to talk about that platform and the multi-inspector class that we're given on Wednesday morning. I think that'd be really good for people to come to and learn some things.
What time is that?
I think the breakfast part starts at 7, and then the table discussion will start and go from 8 to 10.
Well, I think people could learn a lot from you. The long experience hiring inspectors, building that company culture is certainly very important. Really appreciate you being on today, Dave.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for sitting
All right,
down.
thank you. Appreciate it very much. Nice meeting you folks.